and I'm back with my design team project for AngeldreamCraftsKim on Etsy, and this is my first one for the month of July. And what I created was this really cute little journal that's about 7 inches tall and 4 3/4 inches wide, measuring right to the edge of the file folder. And it consists of 2 file folders, one on the front, one on the back, and these are a digital download that I purchased, and then I folded it and I stitched it on the sides to make the front and the back cover. There are 8 pockets inside with journal cards. There are 4 envelopes inside, and they are also digital download envelopes. There is 1 small removable journal in the center, and also 2 little cello bags with some ephemera in them. And then I have decorated the whole thing up with beautiful laces and trims and blings from Kim's shop. And I will leave a link to AngeldreamCraftsKim on Etsy in the description box below, along with links to the Facebook group, her Instagram, where we post whenever we upload new things to the store. You get a heads up if you're part of the Instagram, and you will see projects that other people create in the Facebook group. And if you want to join and you create things using products from the store, you can also upload your pictures into the Facebook group for everyone to see and to share ideas. And I will also leave links to all the designers so that you can go over and see what they have created this month with the goodies they received from AngeldreamCraftsKim on Etsy. I'll start with the front cover and I'll show you the closure I've made. Again, this is a file folder on the front. All the pages have been put together with the tab binding, and I do have a video on my channel showing you how to do the tab binding. It's also lots of other videos out there in the crafting community of people that have done the tab binding. I like the tab binding, and I find it very useful when you don't have a whole lot of pages, and it makes for a really nice binding. I have covered up the spine so you can't see the binding too much, but I'll show it on the inside, and I'll try and remember to link the video. And the binding on the front is an extra little piece that adds to the front. I made with a piece of chipboard to make it quite solid over the spine, and a piece on the back, and that idea I got from Treasure Books. She used it in a different context, but I really liked the idea of it, and so I created that for this front of this journal. Beautiful laces. The daisy lace that was in my design team package, which is this one. Still available in the store, and I did use it in many different ways. I used the individual daisies. I used it in this aspect. I used it with the leaves off to the side, so they are at the bottom of the daisies, and I just cut them off and added them to the side of the flowers. Here at the bottom, I used it as the full daisy with the leaves. This one ends up getting tucked behind this other leaf motif that is also part of my design team package, and there it is there. It's a really nice versatile trim. Here I've just used it sort of in a scrolling fashion on the front, and then I've also used it inside the journal as well. Here is the top of, let's see, yes, that's the top of the daisy lace. So that's that scalloped piece that I was talking about that you could cut free and use on its own. And so I did, and I used that along here and along at the top. This was all finished at the bottom here with this scroll, and so I did not add a piece down here. I would just have added more bulk. The little piece in the front, I used the applique that came in my design team package. I had the 2 bigger ones and then the 2 smaller ones in that applique and the leaves, so I added those. And then some of the daisies and some of the scrolls and some of the little rosebuds that I had in my design team package, one of the beautiful bling hearts, and then 2 of these little snowflake blings. Those were all in my design team package. I also added a daisy and a little snowflake bling here on the spine. This beautiful trim going down here was also in my design team package. That's this one. And I used that. It fit perfectly down the spine. And then this is just a bit of a lace from my own stash that I added. And then on the back is the daisy trim down the side again here. Another piece of that little picot trim from the top of the daisy trim. And then one of the bows from Kim's shop. That's from a previous design team package. I came across a couple of them in my stash buried away, so I thought I would use them. And this is one of my own little tatted butterflies. And then on the spine, part of that closure, I put another one of those beautiful heart blings from Kim's shop. And then it is closed with a piece of frayed chiffon from my own stash. Kim has laces and ribbons in her shop that would work very well for this same type of closure. It is attached under here with a eyelet, and then this little piece opens up. I've collaged on the back of it here. Then on the, just when you flip this open, so I've collaged under here as well, sort of a peekaboo thing. You find it after you open or undo the tie, and I added in the roses, and then I added in the word memories. And then there's a little butterfly here that's just attached in the center of her body. And this is just a paper doily underneath as well. And on the back, the closure is the same. It's got just a solid piece of scrapbooking paper in the inside, and you can see the back of the eyelet there. And then you can see the daisy trim all down the side here. And I added little pink blings and little flat back pearly beads on there as well for more accent. And Kim's laces and trims are so versatile. They're lovely on their own, but it's always fun to add a little piece of bling or a pearl into the center. And I did that on the front too. I added into the center of the daisies and here as well. So let's open her up and have a peek inside. You can see from profile here that I have used lots of the laces and trims, and some from my stash as well, and some from my stash of AngeldreamCraftsKim. I keep her laces and trims separate because I often have little pieces left, and they come in really handy when you're creating any project really that you need smaller pieces for. So you can see all the yummy goodness from the side profile there. The file folder creates a little pocket, and what I've done is just stuck a little scrappy notepad in there and added some washi tape and some little journaling cards and little goodies in there that would be fun to work with. And that just tucks in there. That could be taken out and put in your purse or used, somewhere else. And this would be a great pocket for photos or little bits of things that you collect if you use this on a vacation somewhere, or just as your regular journal. If you had things that you wanted to save, you could put it in there. On the back side, I used a piece of that pretty pink lace that was in my design team package. That's this one here. And I made a pocket with it. And then I tucked a couple of these little jar things, and I finished them on the back so that you'd be able to journal or jot little notes on them. And I've tucked those in there. And then this is the first page, and it's created by making 2 pockets. And then I put some lace and some fabric and some lace at the bottom to hold them together like a page. So this would be one page together. And then you can see the tab binding here. There's a tab here and a tab here. And I used about a 1.5 inch ribbon, cloth ribbon, to make the tabs with this time. You can use ribbon, lace, pieces of fabric. It's pretty open to whatever you want to do when you're making that tab binding. Each one of these pockets has 2 journaling cards that are put together with washi tape so that you have all this journal space inside. You could even journal on spaces on the front of it too. You could add other things into these pockets. So every pocket has a journaling card like that, exactly like that inside. And what I've done is decorated the pockets and the tops of the cards with laces and trims from Kim's shop. So this floral trim, and I noticed she still, although it's from a previous design team package, I still have like a little tiny bit left. But she has it still available, and this is about a 6-inch wide total flat trim that cuts apart. It comes solid like this, but it cuts apart beautifully to make these individual little flowers and little pieces that you can add to your projects. And so that's one of the flowers there. That's one of the daisy flowers from the daisy trim on the top of that, and then a little bling from my stash. And here, this is a flower from that same trim. It's this flower right here with the leaves, and I've added a little piece of bling from my stash. And here is one of those gorgeous butterflies that were in my design team package, and they're in the shop. And what I did is it just comes with the wings, and I added, wrapped some tiny 11O seed beads on there, and then created some the antenna as well. I just added something more to them. They were absolutely gorgeous the way they are, but I always like to take something a little bit higher and add things to it. That's just the way my creative mind works. So you can see all the beautiful laces. These are all from Kim's shop. This one was in my design team package, the floral with the little scallops all over it, and it looks lovely on the top. And I purposely decorated these little cards all up because they stick out the top of the envelopes and they create that beautiful look to the profile of the journal. The next page is an envelope. So this is the back side of the envelope. I used her leaf trim, which she still has some in the shop, that floral trim. This is from a previous design team package. It had the florals on it, and I cut them off, added some bling to the centers. And then on this side of the envelope, I added a piece of that gorgeous trim that was in my design team package and attached it there on the edge of the envelope. This envelope flips open, and there's a little tiny little journal inside with some scrappy bits in it, and that's just tucks away in there. But again, you could remove that, and then this would have lots of room in here to tuck your own little keepsakes. Here you can see that there is the tab binding is underneath here. You can also see the elastic that holds in the journal that is in the center that is removable. And in here I tucked this pretty little cello bag with a pretty paper clip on it and added some ephemera in there for you to play with. 2 more envelopes. These ones decorated with that beautiful scrolly type trim that was in my design team package. 2 more envelopes, more of the leaf trim, more of the flowers from this trim, and the little cards in the top, again more of the scroll, and some double lace trim that I had still in my stash from Kim's shop from a year ago, and I cut it in half. Any of these trims that you see in her shop that have a center piece to them, you can either decorate that up with pearls or something, but you can also cut this apart and you end up with 2 pieces of lace then that are a little narrower, and it looks really pretty on the profile, that lace. So I just had to use it. The backs of the envelopes are all decorated, as well as are these pretty little note cards. This little bubbly trim here and this little dragonfly is created from this trim, and this is the grapevine. Let me look a second here. I have it written down. The Ivory Venice grapevine lace, and it's still in the shop. And what I did was I cut these little pieces off that are called the grapes on here, and I just cut them off in lengths. So not individual, but you can see how that would cut apart and you would have 5 in a row there. And then I just pieced them along the top. They add a lot of texture, and I thought that was really neat. I really liked that. And then when I was looking at the leaves on here, I could see both a butterfly and a dragonfly in this leaf. I thought, well, I have to make both. So I took the leaf and I made the dragonfly first. So here she is, or here he is. And you can see that this is his head right here, this little shape piece here, right there. And then here are his wings, but I just reversed them. So the smaller ones are at the bottom and these become the top. So cut it out and flipped it over. And then there's 4 little pieces of the grapes make his body. And then I added on 2 little tiny pearls for his eyes at the top. And this is a piece of lace that was in Kim's shop before, going down the side of that pocket. This is the next envelope, and this is created with the leaves from the trim, one of the trims from her shop, and of course a cluster of the daisy trim. And then on the back side is just a bit of bling from my stash. I made some of my wax seals to put on the envelopes because I just love making them. This one says love on it, and it actually works as a closure, so this lifts up behind it. And in the envelopes, I just put a single thing in each envelope. This I put a little journal card in there, all collaged, and added some lace to the side. And these pockets, then you could fill them with your own little whatever you wanted to. On this one, again, you can see the tabs here that hold the pages all together. This is the little journal in the center, and this actually is stitched together, so it's all the pages are intact together. And it's let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 10 pages, and then of course each side of the page. And also there's some tucks and flips in here as well that add extra, and there's some added little journaling cards and things, and this flips out, so it does add extra journaling space. And this is a belly band at the back with another piece of paper tucked in there that you could write on the back, so it leaves a lot of room. A little pocket on the back with a little scrappy little pad in there with some more paper to journal on, and right in the center where it's tied, I have this little girl, and I have another little pad with some scrappy little bits of paper in it. But this whole thing, let me just get a hold of it here, is underneath this elastic as well. So this can slide out. I'm not going to take the whole, well, I will. I'll take it out and show you. It's out. And then this could be filled, put away. You could make another one, because all you have to do is take the measurements from here, and you can make another one and put it in here if this one got full and you wanted another one. Or you could just leave it in there. So I will slide it back in place after. Here is another envelope, again, another one of my wax seals. This one has a butterfly on it. This is a piece of the embroidered netted lace, and it's still in the shop, and it's about 2 inches wide, and I had used the outer edges of it to use for something else, so it was cut into 3 pieces. And the outer edges had scallop lace on it, and then the center was just plain. And so I took the center piece that I had, and I just glued and gathered it across the top of this envelope, and added a couple of pearls from my stash, and it looks so pretty. It's got such a pretty shimmery little thread in it, and that is still available. I think that was just my last month's design team package. I had that little piece left. I do not get rid of anything, because I have learned that it all comes into use at some point. I do share some of my scraps with other crafters and in Happy Mail because they're just invaluable. They really are. And in this pocket, there's just a little card. And this was given to me from a friend. She gave me a bunch of them, and I just tucked this one in there because I thought it was so pretty, and it gives you another spot to journal on, and also room to add in things of your own. And there's the back of that envelope, and I decorated that with the beautiful grapevine lace, and then I just added some of my own blings to it. Here we have 2 more envelopes, and again, one of the beautiful flowers from that lace that is still available in the shop. That's the 6-inch wide one. I have a couple of little bits, and then I had one bigger one here, but it's disappeared. Oh, here it is. So that's this one. And then I added one of my own flat backs. This is that part of that trim that's the same as this one. But what I've done is I've taken and ungathered, so I've taken and cut this piece off that gathers it and made it into a flat trim, and just used the back piece, because it's actually 2 pieces. This is a bit of a organza, and this is lace. And then I used that down the side, and then this trim is from Kim's shop, and it's also still available, so I wanted to use it because I still had a little piece in my stash, and I love to use things that you can actually still get your hands on. You don't, you know, it's not something that's gone out of stock, and it's really pretty too, a really pretty little trim, and I added that on the top there. And then here I added just a few things from my own stash, but this is a part of Kim's fan trim, and she still has that one in the shop. And my stuff's getting all in a mess here now. There it is. So this is another really pretty trim. This was actually one of the trims that I wanted in my last month's package, and I love it. It is so pretty. And I mean, the right and wrong side is almost just as pretty. But there it is, a little shinier thread on the right side. And I used it here, just cut a little piece of it and put it there with a little bit of trim from my own stash. This is part of a lace that Kim, I don't believe it's still available, but it's a little piece I had left. There's another one of the dragonflies, and this one I've set her on a little flower from my stash. And I just think they're the cutest thing. And I don't know, I looked at that lace and I saw these dragonflies and butterflies right away. So here's another, the back of another of the two pockets. This is the leaf trim with one of the florals off of it. This part of the card has a little piece of that grapevine trim here, just tucked in. It almost looks like a bud to me, and some leaves. And then I added a little flower. Oh, I should add a little, I usually add a little pearl or something to the center of those. I missed that one. On the back of this one, I put another little dragonfly tucked on there, and then on the pocket, I have a little bit of trim from my stash, and another, this one I made the butterfly. So this one you can see the two of them together. The dragonfly has the top part of the leaves. So these leaves right here, and his head. And then at the bottom are these leaves right here. There's the bud, and then these leaves here. So I just used the bud and this set of leaves, and I cut out two of them, and I made the butterfly. So the wings are quite a bit bigger on a butterfly. Used, again, 5 of the little circles of the grapes, and then this one I added some antennae. Butterflies and dragonflies out of that lace. Plus it's a beautiful lace to just add on to the pages, which I've shown you. There it is right here, added onto the page as is with a little bit of blings added to it. Another little spot where I put another little a bag of ephemera and a pretty paper clip on that. Another envelope. This one I added the flat trim along the side, this one here. Same one that's on the binding, or on the spine I should say, and then a little bit of trim next to it, makes it a little bit wider, and again that's just this top scalloped piece from your daisy trim. And then on the back side of that one is another one of the beautiful sparkly butterflies with the beads wrapped around it again, and the little metal antenna that I made. Another one of my wax seals, which this one I did a dragonfly, and again it works as the closure for this envelope, and that just pops up. And inside this one is a little journaling card finished, and a little piece of that scrolly lace on it. Really pretty. And then on this side is 2 more of the pockets, and these pockets, not only do they have the little journaling cards 2 together in them, every one of them has a set of these in them, they also would work well to tuck little goodies inside, little keepsake things, little notes, that kind of thing, extra little things that you wanted to put inside. So 2 more pockets, beautifully decorated with Kim's laces on the tops of the cards. This piece of scroll work is actually from the grapes and leaves one. That's this one here. It's a little bit different looking than this one. This one is the ivory color. This is white. This is a tighter thread on this one. This one's a little bit more loopy, so it gives you a little bit different look. So I put that across the top of that one. And then on the back side of those 2 pockets, and we're almost at the end, and I used her fan lace here. I used a bit of that scallop lace there. I used a bit of this scallop lace here. I had, if you throughout the journal, you probably have seen these little flowers. Once in a while I may have forgotten to point them out, but I cut some of them off separately, so I had a piece of just the loops left, so I added that here on the top of this pocket, and then another one of the little scrolls and another flower, and you see I've added the little pearl to that one, and then a couple of the daisy flowers running this way. This lace is so versatile because, like I said, they can sit this way, they can cut apart and sit one on top of the other. They can be singly cut out and used, and then they can be cut out and used and the leaves twisted and turned to the side, like I showed you on the front cover. So lots of different ways to use that lace and get a lot out of it. And then on the back cover is the final file folder, and a little bit of the scalloped trim on the bottom from the top of the Grapes and Vine lace, and then I created this big butterfly from this beautiful lace. And so you can just see I cut 4 of them off. I made the bottom wings a little bit shorter, so I cut the lace across here instead of going right to the tip, and then I positioned them, and then I added a daisy over top, and I added this little piece of bling in the center. And then I took the little bits that are on the ends and I spread them out, and I added just a dot of glue and I glued them in place so that they are all fanned out on the page, and then added a couple of antennae. So another beautiful use for these, you know, this different lace. I made a pocket with it, and I made a butterfly with it, and of course it would be beautiful as a dangle trim as well. And then in this file folder is also another little booklet with some scrappy pages in it, and some flips and tucks, and a flip inside, and some washi tapes and that kind of thing, so that you have another little journal book in here. But you also could take that out and you would have another beautiful big spot to add in photos and memory items of your own. And then that's the back cover. And then she all closes up with this beautiful chiffon ribbon. And there's lots of ribbon here, so that if she got fatter with your own goodies tucked in there, there would be enough to be able to still tie her closed. And it's well secured in place with the eyelets. And that is my beautiful little journal that I created for my design team project for AngeldreamCraftsKim on Etsy. And please visit the store, have a look, and pick up some goodies of your own. You can see how easy it is to use her laces and trims and add them in with what you have in your own stash. My own lace and my own ribbons and some of my own blings, and you create beautiful projects. Just buy a couple of things and you will be able to create such beautiful things. Her laces and trims and blings work so beautifully in your projects and with your own supplies, and you will not be disappointed at all. So I hope you are all having a wonderful day and are enjoying the summer. This item will be for sale. If you are interested in purchasing her, my email will be in the description box below, and you can email me and we can chat about what I would charge and how I bill and that kind of thing. I just use PayPal and I find it works really well, and people are very satisfied. Again, thank you for stopping by and visiting with me and sharing some of your time with me, and I hope you find some inspiration here. And if you do, would you mind giving me a thumbs up? And if you haven't subscribed, would you consider subscribing? I'm working really hard to reach 1,000 subscribers, and I'd love to reach that goal. So I thank you all, and bye for now.